Hello everyone, my name is Joanne Lockwood and I am your host for the Inclusion Bites podcast. In this series I have interviewed a number of amazing people and simply had a conversation about the subject of inclusion, belonging and generally making the world a better place for everyone to thrive. If you'd like to join me in the future, then please do drop me a line to joe.lockwood@tchangehappen.co.uk. That's SEE changehappen.co.uk. You can catch up with all of the previous shows on iTunes, Spotify, and the usual places. So plug in your headphones, grab a decaf, and let's get going. Today is episode 75, with the title Helping Others Achieve the Gold in Their Life. And I have the absolute honour and privilege to welcome Steve Judge. Steve describes himself as a professional speaker and author whose journey took him from wheelchair to world champion and beyond. He is now on a mission to empower others to achieve the gold in their lives. When I asked Steve to describe his superpower, he said that he is proud of being focused on what he wants and dedicated to make it happen. Hello, Steve. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Joe. It's lovely to be here, and I'm really looking forward to our chat. Just a nice casual chat between two colleagues over the next hour. So, yeah, really looking forward to it, and thank you very much for inviting me on.
A pleasure, Steve. So tell me, how do you help others achieve the gold in their life?
Oh, how do I help others? Well, as a professional speaker, as an author, so this is what I do, but I generally use my unique story. So yeah, that could be transcribed to I talk about myself. I talk about myself and my journey, but from that, I give out messages and I give out the tools that I used to achieve in my life. Like you've already said, from going from wheelchair to world champion and beyond. There's certain things that I did, and I think as time's gone on, I've met a lot of people that have said to me, "Do you know what, Steve? You're amazing. I don't think I could have done that. I don't think I could have grown my leg back, twisted nuts and bolts on a cage to lengthen my leg out. I don't think I could have dedicated myself to going swimming early in the morning and running at lunchtime and cycling in all weathers. And I don't think I'd have the commitment to run my own business and be successful and all of these things. And it's lovely to hear. And my head's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But I don't like the fact that they say that they don't feel that they could do that, because I feel that anybody could do that. I believe that if you've got that thing in your head that you really want, then you can achieve it. Now, I'm not going to say anything is possible, but you at least have a goal, a really big, massive goal that you want to work towards. And it's all about that. That is the main thing. What is that thing? And that's what I ask them. Before I tell them how to get there and the tools that I use and everything, I said, well, what is it that you want? What is that gold in your life? Now, for me, gold stands for your goal, your opportunity, your love, and your dream. GOLD. What is your gold? Because if you find that thing that you really want, that you're really passionate about, that you really get excited about, that thing that will get you out of bed at 5:30 in the morning, that thing that you will talk to your friends about, that thing that will keep you going even on the low days. If you find out what that thing is, and it could be anything, it could be your environment, your relationship, your finance, it could be work, your career. But once you find out what that thing is, you'll be driven to go and achieve it. When I was in a wheelchair and I was being told that I may never walk again, you got to imagine how passionate I was about wanting to stand again and walk again. And I'd move hell and high water to make it happen. And I believe that a lot of other people would as well. And when I had the opportunity to become a world champion, if I put the hard work and dedication, I believe that other people would go for that as well. But again, I do meet people that defy that and say, no, I'm not that kind of a person. I think, well, you just haven't found the right gold in your life then. And it brought me to this thing of a quote. I love quotes. And my business coach told me this quote. And I use it. It's in the start of my new book that I'm writing. It's coming out in March. And the book is called Gold. Okay, nice and easy to remember. But the book starts off with this quote, and it's hell on earth is. Hell on earth is. So the full quote is hell on earth is getting to the end of your days and meeting the person that you could have become. So hell on earth is getting to the end of your days and meeting the person that you could have become. So my business coach told this to me. And I said, Right, I don't get it. He says, what do you mean? I said, I don't understand the quote. Um, I said, because when I get to the end of my days, the person that I could have become is the person that's a waste of space. They are a loser. They are the lazy one. They're the ones that didn't get out of bed. They're the ones that didn't drag themselves through things. They didn't achieve anything. They have regrets. I said, I'm not going to be that person. I'm going to be the person that's, pushed myself, that's succeeded in the things that I want, that's, found out what I want and worked towards them, whether that's helping people or personal things or professional. So I don't get the quote. And he said, that's typical of you, Steve. That's because you're one of the 20%. I said, what do you mean one of the 20%? He says, well, 20% generally, this generalization, generally 20% of the population will be like me. They'll be living their life with no regrets. But 80% of the population will be like that. They will get that quote. They will get to the end of the days and they say, I've got regrets. I've got regrets that I didn't spend enough time with my family, that I'm not as fit and healthy, that I was in a job that I didn't like, I was in a relationship that I didn't like, and I regret that. And I'm like, wow, why are they doing that? What are they doing that to themselves? And it really frustrates me that people go through their lives with these regrets and they don't do the thing that they really love, the thing that will make them happy. And why do they do that? And so the whole book that I've written is about that. It starts off with that quote and it's got the feelings how I went through it. It's got some assessments so you can find out whether you are a high achiever or whether you focus on what you want to achieve rather than what you want to avoid. But more than that, obviously it's got lots of stories about me and my journey, but it's got exercises in it. The whole point is when I'm on the stage and I inspire and I motivate and it's all amazing, up to a point, that's all I do. I inspire and I motivate. So how can I actually help people? Because this is what I want to do. I really want to help people. How do I help people? The book helps people. Do the exercises. By the time you get to the end of the book, you will not only know what your goal is, but you'll know how to achieve it, how to work towards it, how you need to get your golden gang involved, why are you doing it, when are you going to do it? All of these questions will be answered and you can go forward. Connected to the book will be my workshop. So I deliver this in businesses and corporations, helping the team to find out what their goal is, helping the business to find out what their goal is in the future, the 5-year plan. What is it that you want to do? How many people do you want to reach? This is your goal for the company. And again, the workshop will help people to get to that point. So it's taken me a couple of years, well, a year and a half, I'd say, to write this book. It's coming out in March. But for me, this is my goal at the moment is to give something back. And so that's what my dedication is at the moment. And how do I do that? By the workshop, the book, and speaking is probably an introduction to who I am and what I do. So that's my journey that I'm on at the moment, and I'd be happy to share more of that as we go through this podcast, Joe.
Yeah, Steve, it's interesting. You talk about the 20% and then the 80%. Obviously, conversely, it can be very difficult for many who are living in their comfort zone. Things aren't bad enough to change necessarily. That we all have dreams. We all play the lottery. And most of us play the lottery for hope rather than for actual realism about we're going to win anything. So it's about being in it to win it. How you had a if I remember rightly from your story, you were involved in a car crash, which triggered the sequence of events to get you here today. Did you have this gold mindset before that sequence of events? Is your trajectory accelerated or taken a different path because of that? Was it the necessity brought out of the circumstance, if you like, that inspired you to take the actions you did?
You're absolutely right, Joanne. It's a really good question. Here I am saying, this is what you should do. You should live your life with no regrets, blah, blah, blah. It's easier for me to say that because things have happened to me in my life that's made me almost wake up. It brings me on to another quote. We all have 2 lives. Our second one starts when we realize we've only got one. And when I had that car accident, when I survived it, when I woke up in the hospital bed, I realized, oh my goodness, I nearly died. I'm 30 years old. I nearly died. I didn't. I've got both my legs crushed, but I'm alive. I've got potential. I need to start living my life and start doing something. And so, I think from that point onwards, that's what I started doing. And I used all the resources that I had beforehand to help me to achieve that. And that was really important. So, yeah, it's all right, me talking to other people about it, they haven't necessarily been to that life-changing event. And again, this is where it comes back to me. Listen to my story, listen to my journey, and learn from the good things that have happened and the bad things, and then maybe other people as well, and take inspiration and motivation from that so that you can find your gold and live your life with no regrets by learning from what other people have done. And so that's what my mission is. So how do I get my story out there? That's part of my journey as well, to get those gigs, to get on those stages, and to perform, so that people can learn from it. I don't want anybody to go through what I've been through. I don't want anybody to have a car accident, a near fatal car accident, get both their legs crushed or anything like that. I've done that. I've done that for them. So if they can learn from me, then that's what's really important, and that's what I want to do.
There's a quote I often use: "Is everything you ever desire is on the other side of fear," and it shows us that this fear reaction in our heads stops many people unlocking their gold, in your language, because they're worried about humiliation, they're risk taking, they've got so much investment in their status quo, the responsibilities, they're wherever they are in their life, and sometimes to step out of that comfort zone means risk, fear of failure, fear of not knowing where to start. How does your thought process inspire people to take that first step over that threshold from comfort to stretch?
Absolutely. I saw this little explanation of going out your comfort zone, and I loved it. So I'll try and explain it, because I always thought, if your need, your want is big enough, then you will jump out of your comfort zone and you'll go and achieve it, because that's where the magic happens. And you can imagine like a circle of your comfort zone on a flip chart, and a big arrow jumping out and going to achieve your goal. And then I thought, that's not very realistic. And this one person said, yeah, it's not very realistic. You can't expect people to just change over one night or one day. And so what it is you expand your comfort zone bit by bit, day by day. Your comfort zone gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and until eventually your comfort zone stretches all the way over to that thing that did seem impossible to do maybe a year ago or 2 months ago. But now look at you, you're nearly there. So it is step by step. The other thing, going on to my gold concept, which is good to gold concept, is there's 5 world champion winning strategies. And the first one is knowing what you want. So imagine you know what it is, you know what your goal is. It's just, how do you get there? How do you go out of your comfort zone to get there? So the next thing is your golden soul. And that is basically your why. As in, why? Why do you want this thing? Let's write it down. Why do you want it? What will you see, feel, hear when you get there? What will you lose when you get it? What will you gain when you get it? What will you achieve when you get it? Let's get it out of your head, and let's get those feelings, those emotions of you being in that moment of achieving that goal, and let's bring that to life. Because once you start feeling how good you are going to be, because I'm presuming this thing that you really want is going to make you happy. I mean, why would you do the opposite? So this thing is going to make you happy. Let's just think how happy you really are going to be in a job that you love, in success that you've achieved, in a relationship that is divine. Let's think about you already being there, and let's get that knuckle down, and that will bring your brain, your smile to fulfillment. And that's great, because that's what you need. That's what you need on those dark days. That's what you need to keep you going on the unmotivated days. And you can put other tools in place, like getting a playlist, getting a vision board, getting some poetry that will really help you inspire. But having somebody to hold you accountable, that really helps as well. But finding out your golden soul is really important, and that will take you on to the next stage, which is your golden gear. Now, your golden gear is, what do you need to do? What do you need to do? And it's one simple question repeated, as in, what more can I do? What more can I do? What more can I do? This is what I said to myself when I was in rehabilitation. I was doing all my physio, and the physio kept on giving me exercises for both of my legs so that I could stretch them, grow them, learn to stand again, etc. And I always say, right, I'm doing that. What more can I do? And at one point, I was doing 21 different physio exercises. That's a lot. Now, that's all I had to do in my life, to be honest. I had no job. I was in a wheelchair. My whole life was dedicated to me getting better. Didn't make it much easier, because physio is so boring and monotonous. But still, that's what I was doing. And I'd still ask them, what more can I do? These are my legs. This is my time. This is my opportunity. What do I need to get better? So that when at the end of all this rehabilitation phase, I could look back, and no matter what disability or what pain I had, I could say to myself, I've got no regrets. I did as much as I could. At no point do I want to say to myself, oh, Steve, if you'd got off your ass and done more physio, if you'd got up and done the things that people told you to do, you would be better than you are now. I absolutely have no regrets that I did as much as I could. And so that's really important. As an elite athlete, elite to me means that you're asking the question all the time. You want to be the best in the world. Of course, you're going to be asking yourself, what more can I do? What more can I do to beat the rest of the world? So you're asking yourself that question over and over again. Is it your kit, your equipment, your nutrition, your mindset, everything to do with performing to the best of your ability on that day? At the start line, when it goes, you want to be stood on that start line, looking left and right at the other competitors, saying, bring it on. I've got no regrets. I seriously couldn't have done any more training, any more mindset. I couldn't have done any more nutrition. I'm sick of that diet that I've been following, but I am on my peak performance. This is it. Bring it on. And that's how I see things in life, in my business now, as a professional speaker. I'm doing really well, but there's other gigs that I'm not at yet. Why aren't I there? When I'm speaking in front of 20 people, that's lovely. But why is it not 200? Why is it not 2,000? Why is it not 200,000? Why am I not in the O2 Arena? It's the same story, and I could inspire so many more people if they were just put in front of me. And that kind of spurs me on. Maybe I'm doing something wrong then. What more can I do? What more can I do? Is it more marketing, more lead generation? Do I need to get my golden gang? So the golden gang is the next stage. Is that who do you need to help you get there? Because you've got to realize you can't do this all on your own. My goodness me. I mean, much as we're driven everything, we've got limits. In hospital, I had physios, I had doctors, surgeons, admin staff. Elite athlete, of course, you've got the team behind you. And now my business, much as I run it on my own, and I'm the one that people see on the stage and I'm up there, I have a massive team behind me. I have my mastermind group, I have a business coach, I have a stylist, I have a PA, I have friends, colleagues, people that help and support me. There's a lot of people that have helped me to get where I am today. But I also say that there's 3 phases in that. There's people that help me in commencement, as in just getting going, saying, oh, no, good luck, go for it, Steve. You've then got a bigger team that help you to accomplish. And I'd say that's where I am now. I'm an accomplished professional speaker and things are going really well, but I'm not done yet because I want more. I want fulfillment. And it's about thinking, who do I need in my golden gang that will take me up to that fulfillment stage? Who's going to take me up to that next level? Is it an SEO expert? Is it a marketing guru? Is it a chauffeur that will drive me to my gigs and drive me home? Is it somebody who's going to do all my social media while I'm on the stage and taking photos of me so I don't have to take selfies and type it up myself? All of these things, this is what I would love to do. I want to do the things that I love doing, the things that make me happy. And that's being on the stage. I don't actually like doing the admin work and sit in front of the computer. I'll do it, but I don't want to. So who do I need in my golden gang? And much as I can't maybe afford them at the moment, they're there and I will get them at some point. The last one is your golden hour. The golden hour is all about deadlines. What's my future? What's my future hold? What's my 5-year plan, 4-year, 3-year, 2-year, 1-year plan? What do I want to achieve at the end of this month? I've mentioned my book's coming out in March. That's been a part of my golden hour, my planning. And once that comes out, then I've obviously got to do all the marketing before that comes out. But when it comes out, then I want to jump on top of it and do the workshops, do an online workshop. And I've got other goals that I want to set. And that's all in my 5-year plan. So having all of these strategies in place really help me to work my way through my goal. And this is what the book explains. So this is what will help other people. So first things first, what do they want? What do they really want? What is their goal? And then follow these strategies and it will help them to get there. It will help them to go out of their comfort zone every single day because they can see the journey ahead of them. And I describe it in my book. It's like a treasure hunt. It's like a journey. Is that I've got a really cool map that I've drawn, which your gold is at the end of it, and you've got to go through everything to get there. You've got the golden compass. You've got the golden key. The golden key to unlock your gold. The golden key is a figment of action, because that, I believe, is the one fundamental thing that you've got to do to succeed is taking action. So what action are you going to take? And it's so important. So all of these things, you can imagine it's kind of like a hunt, a treasure hunt throughout the mountains and the streams and everything. to find your goal, to unlock your goal, to release it, and to be happy, because that's where everybody should be.
Everyone's definition of gold is different, though, isn't it? And is there a danger that we create unattainable expectations for people who don't have their team, don't have the finances, don't have the wherewithal? So someone else's gold may actually be more bronze or rock, but it's their gold, I suppose. It's all proportionate to their expectations. It's not about, as you say, winning a world championship. It might be for them losing weight or getting a new job or achieving something, getting out of a toxic relationship or something. It's everyone's goal is different, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, totally. And people have to decide what their goal is, and it's very important. I've made mistakes. I had a friend, I've still got a friend, and he's a recovering alcoholic, and I wanted to help him. So he started doing a bit of swimming, and I said, "Look, mate, why don't we do a relay triathlon?" He said, "Do what?" He said, "I can't do that." I said, "All you got to do is you do the swim section, I'll do the bike section, somebody else can do the run section. We do it together as a team. It'll be great participation. We get a medal at the end, and all you got to do is swim 30 lengths of the pool." He said, "I can do that." I said, "Well, that's great. Let's get you signed up then." And a few weeks went by, and I spoke to him. He says, can I have a word with you, Steve?" I said, "Yeah, sure. How's the training going?" He says, "I'm not sleeping well at night." I said, "Oh, why? What's the matter?" He says, I'm feeling so pressurized over this goal that you've set about me backing up the team, swimming 30 lengths. I can swim 30 lengths, but you've put me in a position where I've now got responsibility to swim that 30 lengths. And I said, "Look, I'm so sorry. Let's just scrap the whole idea. I was trying to help, but what I'd done was I'd forced a goal on him, and that doesn't work. It doesn't work at all." There's a similar story with my kids. My kids are 15 and 18 now, but when they were slightly younger, at the beginning of the year, 1st of January, I'd say, "What are your goals? What are your goals for the year ahead? With school and friends and sport and hobbies." And as the years went on, they rolled their eyes, more and more and more. Say, "Oh, Dad, you're always banging on about goals." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to help you, though. What do you want to do?" And I'm not a pushy parent. I just wanted to support. So what I did was I changed my wording. And at the beginning of the year, 1st of January, we sit down and I just asked them, "What do you want to do this year? What do you want to do? Do you want to go on holiday? Do you want to go to the zoo? Do you want to do more cycling, more picnics, more sleepovers? What do you want to do?" In fact, just write a list of what you want to do. Now, to me, that list that they're writing is their goals for this year. For them, it's just what they want. So you can't force these goals on people. And you're absolutely right, Joe. People have got different goals, which is why in my workshop, we do the 360. The wheel of life. So you score where you are in various aspects of your life. Where are you in your environment? Are you happy where you are? Where are you in your work capacity, your business or your finance? Is it good? Is it a 10 out of 10? Was it 2 out of 10? Relationship, health, fitness, mental health, hobbies. Are you actually going out? Are you just staying in? Do you want to go out more? Are you an 8? You score yourself. And at the end of that assessment, you can see where the high scores are, the 10 out of 10s. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Life is sorted for you in that one. Oh, let's have a look at this section. It's a 2 out of 10 or a 3 out of 10. Maybe this is where you want to focus, your gold. How could we move that from a 2 out of 10 up to an 8 out of 10? Whether it's your relationship or whether it's your business or your fund. Do you want more money in the bank? Okay, well, what are you going to spend that money on? Would that bring it up to an 8 or 9? Okay, let's focus on that then. And you're right, everybody's got different goals. My goals were very much health, getting to stand again, becoming a world champion sport. It's now very much business. Do I still keep fit and healthy? Absolutely. But at no point am I trying to be a world champion. At no point am I doing the same times or the same capacity of sport that I used to do, because I'm very much business orientated. That to me is my goal. Writing my book has been my main focus over the last year. And to do that, I've had to sit myself in front of my computer day after day. And that's because that was my goal. So yeah, by asking people what's going on in their life first and finding out what they truly want is very, very important. You can't give goals to other people. And this is not only just like for my friends and family, but, I've met a lot of employees and companies that, they do try to force the company goals on the employees. This is what, management want. This is what the CEO wants. Make it happen. Okay, that's one way of doing it. It's very autocratic. The other thing is working from the ground up. So what do the employees want? Okay, understood. How does that work into what the management wants or the CEO or whatever? And it's down to like communication, working out how there's a common ground, how we can all work together to make it successful. Because if you're trying to row against the stream, it's not going to work, is it? So it's all about being open. And again, this is what my workshops do with the wheel of life. And then the first exercise is very much having a vision. Drawing a picture of what you really want, what you want to achieve personally and professionally. And again, I've learned this, Joe, because I used to say, right, this is a business conference, so you're just going to do professional. What do you want to do professionally in your job role, in your business, in your career, and stuff? And people they struggle to draw or to visualize that, because when I said, "What do you want in your life?" the main thing that pumped into their head was, "I want to spend more time with the family," or "I want to be fitter or healthier." And I'm like, no. What about your business or what about your career? I think, well, yeah, that's important as well. But my main importance is my family and my health. So now I accept that and say, look, let's draw a picture of that. What is your health goals, your family, your personal goals, and now let's move over and do your professional goals, because it is important, because you do need to earn money and get some food in the fridge, and it's part of your life. So how can we get an amalgamation going with those? Let's accept both of them and move on. And I think that's worked a lot better for me. So it's a learning curve for all of us, but accepting what people really want, that is the main thing.
Yeah, I think what you're highlighting there very articulately is the fact that someone's blocker may not be immediately obvious to them or to you or to the person coaching or helping them. And it may well be it's a deep-seated personal challenge, a support network challenge. And then once you put that key into that lock and open that and free them from it, then other things become much clearer and easier to enable. But if you're held back through a fear of something, or relationship problems, or insecurity in your personal life, we all talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If we haven't got the basics, foundations in our life sorted, then how can we aspire up through to self-actualization? So I think, yeah, it's really good to explore the 360, the full dimension of somebody, and not make an assumption. Just go for promotion. Just change your job. There's a lot of why holding them back, isn't there?
Yeah, and I love the concept that I use with the Wheel of Life. If you imagine you've given these all scores, some are 8 and some are 2, you then colour those in. So you colour them in black or something really deep so you can see it. And what you really want is a balance. If you imagine a car or a unicycle running on that as a wheel, if you've got some 2s in some places and some 8s in others, that's not a very smooth journey at all. And it is all about balance. I'm not saying you should be 10 out of 10 for everything, but a 7 out of 10 for everything would be a lot better than 10 in some areas and 2 in others. Something's going on there, and usually they're connected. You're spending too much time in your career and your business, which is 10 out of 10. Everything's going really well. However, your relationship is a 2 out of 10 because you're not spending any time on your relationship and it's all at work. That might be, just an example. Or your health is suffering because you're sat in front of your computer working really hard. So you've got a 10 out of 10 and your health is like a 2 out of 10. That's not good. If they were both 7 out of 10, that would actually be better. So yeah, getting the all-round balance is very important. And again, getting people to realize that is ultimate.
See, I understand, in our conversations, you do a lot work with the scouting movement. What got you into that in the early days?
Ooh, so scouting has always been part of my life. Scouting, I would say, made me. So I talk about when I was in scouting when I was 8 years old, and I loved it. I loved it for, do you know what? I loved it for the fun, the challenge, and the adventure, but the life skills and the opportunities it gave as well. And I loved it for the badges. The badges, the badges that you get down your arm. I love those. And I used to be the scout that used to take the badge book home, and I used to look through that badge book looking for the next badge in my life. And when I found it, I'd go and ask for help from my mum, my dad, and the scout leader, of course, and they would actually help me to work towards that badge. Now, I didn't realize then, but in a way, I guess I was setting a foundation of setting goals and working towards them. So I've got a lot to be thankful for with scouting, the opportunities it gave me. The first 3 badges that I ever got in scouting were swimming, cycling, and running. the fact that I became a world champion in triathlon, swimming, cycling, and running, is that a coincidence? There's a massive one, but it's just nice to know. And so when I got the opportunity, when I retired as an athlete, as a global athlete, one of the first things I did was I went back to scouting as a Cub Scout leader. So I'm now completing the circle, as it was, and I think it's very important to do that in various aspects of your life. And complete the circle. I'm now giving the new generation of Cubs who are like aged between 8 and 10.5 years old, giving them fun, challenge, and adventure, giving them life skills, giving them opportunities. And who knows where those badges will take them. And this is one thing that gets me really hyped up and really excited. I keep talking about my book and about helping people. One of the things that really drives me, the biggest thing, is I will. Sorry, I need to use the right word, and I'm not going to. I am going to create my own Scout badge. Okay, so there's going to be a Steve Judge Scout badge. We're kind of talking about a legacy here now, but this Scout badge will be something that I will present to the young people. And so in scouting, it starts from 6 years old. To be honest, it even starts at 4 years old now, really young, all the way up to 21, and then you become a leader. So with all of those ages, you get badges. And so by doing my workshop from good to gold, they will earn themselves the Steve Judge badge. I've actually got some sketches down here when I was waiting for the podcast of what this badge is going to look like, because I have no idea at the moment. But that's part of the excitement. I think when you're running your own business, it's lovely being creative. But this badge, to earn it, the main thing that the kids are going to do, the young people, is to draw a picture, a vision of what they want to achieve. Draw a picture of where they are now, at Cubs or Scouts or at school, quite young, but where do they want to be in the future? This is part of the workshop that I run in businesses, but also do it at schools all over the place, universities. And the young kids, they're the funniest. They're the best. They draw pictures of, I want to be a rock star. I want to be a footballer. I want to be a surgeon, a vet. I want to be a YouTuber. And there are no wrong answers. You just draw a picture of what you want. And it's really nice. Then add color, add detail. The more you do it, the more you open up to your RAS, your reticular activating system, and you really bring it to life. Now, this picture, when it's finished, we will take a photograph of it. And that will be uploaded to the vault in the sky, the cloud in the sky, and it will stay there. Yes, they've earned their badge, so well done. They can get that sewn on, and they probably have to do one maybe every 4 years or something like that. The point is, every 4 years, they'll have to draw a new picture. So you've got all these pictures on the vault. And so 15 years after the first picture's been drawn, where are they now? Are they actually a surgeon? Are they an astronaut? Are they a rock star? Because some of them will be. And it'd be so nice for them to look back at all the drawings that they've drawn through scouting to get the Steve Judge badge and to see how that has shaped their life, how it's guided them, how it's enthralled them or inspired them to actually go and achieve that thing that they really wanted to do as a kid. Because I believe that that's what happened to me, and that's believe that other people can do that as well. And if I can help them do that, that's what I really want to do. So that will be an amazing thing for me to do. And that will be, like I said, I haven't even designed the badge, haven't got the workshop designed for them yet, but it will be. And that pushes me on. And before I can do that, I've got to write the book and get the book published and get it out there in March. So it's finding out what drives you. And that's the main thing that drives me at the moment, I think, moving forward. So I'm very excited about that, as you might be able to tell.
It's amazing. I mean, I look back at my life, and the scouting movement was a huge, well, I didn't know it at the time, very formative in my early years. I think I probably joined the scouting movement probably when I was 6 or 7 years old, probably as early as you could back in the 70s. And like you, I think I aspired to these badges. I saw the book, saw people getting presented with them. I thought, oh, I want to do that one. I want to do that one. And yeah, it became a thing. And I remember aspiring to be the little mini leadership roles, your pack, your patrol, or your whatever the definition of the time was, and getting as you go up and up through from the junior to the more senior uh, age groups, then you have different badges and different patrol leaders and assistant patrol leaders and chief scout awards, all these kind of things. And it was, for me, I took a lot of inspiration, and I look back at it, what it's done in my life is it instilled a sense of community.
Yeah.
I learned my sense of community and my community engagement through the scouting movement. Village fetes, helping, being part of. I'm not religious, but at the time, a lot of it was associated with the church. Maybe I've lost my churchy side, but there's a community side of what the good we were doing, jumble sales, sorting stuff out. Bob a Job. I remember Bob a Job Week, which I seem to remember was sometimes early in the year, February or something. I don't know, but I remember trying to win the prize for the person who raised the most money in that Bob a Job week or fortnight, whatever it was, and I did. I found a couple of people who seemed to want to pay me to dig their garden up, and every other day I go back and say, "Do you want me to do a bit more of your garden, a bit more of your garden?" And eventually, I think by the end of the week, they said, "Our garden's done now. Thank you very much. Goodbye." I was a bit of a pest.
You can go now.
I think at the time, I mean, I was probably 8 or 9 years old. I think I raised something like 30 or 40 pounds. And back in the 70s, that was a big pot of money, a couple of £100 by today's money. So I was really dedicated to that. And I think that if I look back, the scouting movement has given me the start in life. And there's other things in life that I was in the armed forces for a while. That instilled a sense of duty and a sense of reliability and structure in my life and a few other things. So yeah, I think we're all a product of our existence, and these events, sometimes that self-reflection to see what drives us is quite useful.
Yeah, no, totally. Scouting gives you absolutely so much. I think, as you know, I worked my way all the way up to the Queen Scout Award as it was then, and that's one of the highest awards you can get. And one of the biggest things I got from that was the final expedition, a 4-day expedition with a rucksack on your back, I don't know, 18, 19 years old maybe, full independence. And this is the thing, you weren't allowed to buy anything from the shops. You had to carry all your own food and equipment, which sounds like a mammoth task. But that's the whole point. It's independence. To have that feeling of we could stop anywhere, as long as there was like water, maybe from a stream, we could survive. And it's bringing you back to basics. That survival instinct is really nice, and it gives you that sort of confidence and power that if you can do that, you can maybe do other things as well. So I got a lot from scouting. I could probably talk about it so much, but it's going back to the basics. And as a professional speaker, I still blend in the speaking part into scouting. As a club leader, you know, just on the pack nights when there's like 30 kids there. But one of my goals, I haven't quite achieved it. I've done it a couple of times, but I want to do a bigger one, is I want to tell my story around a campfire. Now, I have done this a couple of times, but what I want to do is at a proper campfire, get some cameras there, get a drone there, capture the moment, because this takes me back to basics. I believe that that's where professional speaking first started, was, you know, cavemen coming back from the hunt and telling their story about woolly mammoth and saber-toothed tigers and explaining what they did and telling the story, not with a PowerPoint presentation or anything like that, but just by the glow of the fire, because that's what it's all about. It's all about storytelling. And to tell my story in that capacity, it just gives me so much fulfillment. I nearly got the opportunity early this year. There was a cub camp, 250 cubs, campfire. I got invited because I'm president of Derbyshire. So I said, yes, this is great. I hired a videographer. I said, come and film me. This is going to be epic. And we drove all the way out there. I got there and it was raining. And they said, we might have to do it in the marquee. I said, I hope not. Can we do it outside around the fire? They went, no, it's too bad. You're going to have to do it in the marquee. And I was like, no. And it was amazing. The Cubs loved it, but it was not what I wanted. You know, doing it in a marquee is very different to doing it around a campfire with the glow and everything. So it's still on my list of things to do that. But on the week by week basis, you know, just doing scouting, giving something to the new generation is great, but seeing what they achieve is so enlightening for me. When I always ask, you know, has anyone got anything to share? And when somebody puts their hand up, I get them to stand up in front of all the cubs. And these are kids of different ages. And that's really important because at school, in their class, well, they're all the same age and they kind of generally know each other. In cubs, you might get kids from different schools, different areas, different ages. So to get them to stand up, be confident enough to speak in front of them and give them a small round of applause before they sit down, that is crucial. That is crucial for their public speaking later on in their life. And I don't mean they're going to become a speaker, but they might have to do presentations, whether it's at a wedding or whether it's at work. But give them some of those skills and confidence, I feel, is really important. But then it just goes on and on. I mean, I've got 2 kids. My eldest, he's 18. He's still in scouting now as a scout leader. And my daughter, she's 15, and she's going on this thing called the World Scout Jamboree. So the World Scout Jamboree is a massive, big scout camp. It's held every 4 years, and it's been going for over 100 years now. And it was first created by the founder of Scouting, which is Baden Powell. So his idea, he'd been through wars, and he created Scouting from the wars about how the new generation can help and everything. But basically, what he wanted to do was he wanted to bring world peace. Okay, big thing that he wanted to do. So what he did was he created this thing called a World Scout Jamboree. And his idea was to bring all the young people from around the world who are scouts from around the world all together for 2 weeks of fun and activities. And the main thing was them to make friendship together, so that these people, these young people from around the world, they make friends, they go back to their own countries, and they never want to fight each other because they have friends in all the countries. So that's world peace. So that's been running every 4 years. The next one is in South Korea. My daughter is lucky enough to be chosen to go on that. She has to raise money. You talked about raising £30. She's got to raise £3,500. And she's doing it exactly the same way as you did, Joe, all those years ago. She's doing it within the community. This is what's really encouraged. Don't just like get mummy and daddy to give you the money. You've got to use your community. You've got to do the cake sales, the washing cars, the digging gardens. You've got 2.5 or 2 years to raise this money so that the whole community know who you are, what you're doing it for, and they are helping you to get your ticket to go over there. Over there, she will make friends. She will learn about culture. She'll do activities. Then she comes back, 15 years old, buzzing about it, telling the new generation what she's just done and about how amazing and how that the world is and the other people around it, and passing on that information and encouraging the new generation to say, do you know what? In 4 years' time, I want to go on the World Scout Jamboree. And you go, yes, do you know what? You might be able to do that. And around it goes, so completing the circle again. So it still goes on. The scouting, I worked for scouting for 3 years in the media team. And the main goal was to shout about scouting in all the good that it does. And it was just lovely, just working around, the volunteers around the country, helping them to shout loud about, all the good stuff they did with the generation, with the camps and the activities that they do. And it was just fun. It was just such a nice, but the scouting people are such a nice, fun, generous group of people. And to shout loud about that, wow, what a perfect job. And I got to work with people like Bear Grylls and other celebrities. It was incredible. One of the best jobs I've ever had until I got this job as a speaker. I love this as well.
Yeah, I took a lot of inspiration in a lot of ways, I think, these days about membership organisations from, it was the chief executive of the Scouts at the time, a guy called Derek Twine. It was, I think he was chief executive around about the mid 2005 to 2008 type timescale. And I met him, and because I was heavily involved in an organisation called the Round Table at the time, and we made contact with the Scouting movement to try and learn how they reinvented themselves, because I think it's fair to say that in the late 90s, early 2000s, Scout movement was becoming out of touch with the modern world. Membership was declining. It was very entrenched in its views and beliefs. It was very white privilege, gender segregation, which wasn't the mood of the world. We were moving into a very much more inclusive sort of need from communities. And I think when I met Derek, he was very inspirational, and he projected or showed me the 5-year plan the Scouting movement had created. And he recognized that in order to make change, sometimes you have to say to some people, well, this change might not be for you. You have to enfranchise the people who are your core, the people who are your future. And sometimes you're going to disenfranchise people who need to be let wither on the vine, or people who can't come on this journey with you. And the way he explained it gave me some insight as to, with membership organisations, certainly the Round Table, it gave me the insight to say, well, actually, what we've got to do is come up with a strategy, come up with a belief, come up with our goal, whatever it may be, of who our core members are, what our core beliefs are, what we're trying to achieve. And that's got to be the unwaverable focus. And when we get detractors, when we get people who are not on board with that, we've got to say, well, it's fair enough. I understand you have different views. Maybe this isn't the best place for you. Maybe you can take your passions elsewhere.
Yeah.
But not proactively push them out, but just allow them to wither. And the confidence I think that Derek had at the time in that 5-year plan is set the foundation of where the Scouting movement is now. It's a waiting list for each pack and troop and whatever the definition is these days. There's leadership. The issue now is finding more leaders, but leaders are coming, aren't they? And so I think the movement has reinvented itself, becoming multi-gender rather than being gender segregated. It's providing modern activities. The uniform was reformed. The new sense of belonging was created in alignment with society. And I think it's got a lot of lessons that many organisations can learn from at a time where service organisations have declined and the scouting movement has started to thrive.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing they wanted to do, as you can imagine, is numbers. If people are leaving Scouts, then what they need to do is get more people to join. So who are those people that they want to stay or to join? Well, they're the young people. So the main thing they do now is they listen to the young people. It sounds quite easy when you put it like that, but it's youth-led. So what do the young people want? So this was probably about 15 years ago or more. They said, probably around the time that you're talking, they said, what do you young people, what do you want? And they said, well, one thing we don't want is the uniform that you keep enforcing on us, these hats that you make us wear, and we don't actually like those, and we're actually a bit embarrassed wearing them down towards Scouts, so much so that we'd prefer not to go to Scouts than wear the uniform that you make us wear. And they went, oh my goodness, right, well, what uniform would you like to wear? I don't know, a hoodie or something. All right, let's design some hoodies. Now we still have the uniform because you still got tradition, and you've got to get the balance right between modernizing and moving with the times and tradition. And there is still the saluting, and there is still the flag break, and there is still the uniform and the parading on Remembrance Day and St George's Day parade. Absolutely. But we don't shout that loud about that. What we shout loud about is the rock climbing, the mountain biking, the expeditions, the swimming that we do, the archery, all the exciting, the fun, the challenge, the adventurous things that we do. Because that's what the kids want. That's what the young people want. Well, let's do more of that. And what else do you want? And what else do you want? And what else do the young people want? And things like that. It is not, as a leader, I get stuck into the traffic as well, that I run an amazing program for a whole year. And so the next year comes around, I think, well, we'll just do the same program again because it seemed to work well last year. Wrong. Who do I know? I'm an adult. I don't know. Let's ask the young people, how did it go last year? And they might go, it was okay, but we didn't really like this activity. And I'm like, are you sure? I thought that was great. I don't know. It's about asking them. So sometimes you have to do brainstorming with them, and they come up, and then it comes, and this is where you've got the what's your goal? And as a management, as a leader, I then have to adapt the goal that they want and make it work. I was talking about businesses and corporations and about finding out what the employee wants and how that works with what the management want. So the kids, they said they want a McDonald's night. I said, you want a what night? A McDonald's, where we go to McDonald's and eat McDonald's. And I'm like, well, look, in scouting, this is not what we really do. We don't really go to McDonald's and just like stuff our faces. So I don't think we can do that. Now, I didn't say that negatively. I said, that's very interesting. Let me have a think about it. So what I created was a hike. And it was a hike around the village. And we went to every single place that sold chips. And we bought a portion of chips and we ate those chips and we scored them on service, taste, payment, waiting time. And then we moved on to the next chip shop and the next one. And we had the best night ever, eating chips, walking, going around the community with our scout uniform on, the necker at least. And people saw us. And sometimes we got chips for free. And then at the end of the night, we went back to those chip shops and we presented them with a certificate. So, about, on what they scored. So everybody's happy. The owners are happy. The Cubs are happy. And the leaders are happy. And it was probably one of the best nights of the year because we got to eat lots of chips. So by turning a McDonald's night into something similar to that, that's how you do it. And that comes down to understanding what the young people want and how us as leaders, management, can actually do stuff like that. So yeah, listening to the young people, that's ultimately very, very important.
I love that. And I'm a great believer in, rather than listening and then coming up with a can't, it's like the improv, isn't it? And
Yes.
what can we do? What could we do instead? So that's the goal.
Yeah.
Let's go and have something social. Let's do something that's a bit fun. Well, we can't do exactly that, but we can do this instead. It's working out the can, not just being blocked by the can't, isn't it?
Oh, that is so true about scouting, because probably like 10 years ago, health and safety, which is very important. It can be very complicated to work out how you can still do things by following all the health and safety guidelines. But it's not a case of saying we can't do that anymore. It's a case of saying, how do we do that then? Right. Climbing trees, that's going to be quite adventurous. We don't use the word dangerous in scouting. Adventurous to climb trees. So how can we do that? Well, there's a place called Go Ape. I don't know if you've heard about that, but the whole thing is climbing trees, big trees, massive trees, bigger than we've got in our village. They're high, they're double the size of that. How do they do that? A harness, rope, wire, training, safety, leaders there. So the kids are now climbing higher than they ever would have before, having even more fun because we didn't say no to tree climbing. We just said, how can we do it? And it's the same with everything, working out how you can do something rather than just saying no. Now, I know that's not always easy, but nobody said that this was going to be easy. And this comes back to what we were talking about having this big, monstrous goal, or your gold. How do you get there? How do you go out of your comfort zone? Bit by bit, let's take a step back. And also sometimes you might to ask for help. Like I said, if you think you can do it on your own, you're probably wrong. It's about knowing who's in your golden gang that will help you, support you, maybe enlighten you. I remember talking about my book again. I said to I was on holiday, was it last year, and I said to my family, my brother and his wife and kids and stuff, I said, what I want to do is I actually want to bury some gold around the UK, some actual gold, and it will be a massive promotional thing. And to find the clues of where the gold is, it will be in my book. So if you buy the book, you get the map, and then you can do some geocaching. You can find out where this gold is, dig it up, and it'll be great for social media, etc. Everybody around the table was going, well, that wouldn't happen. That wouldn't work because of this, because of that. That's a crazy idea. What about if somebody digs it up? What about if you lose it? And it was all like negativity, negativity, negativity. And I just went, do you know what? It doesn't matter then. And let's talk about the weather instead. Now, I did the same thing. I mentioned the same thing to my mastermind group. Group of people similar to me, professional speakers, have their own business. And they all said, Steve, that sounds an amazing idea. That sounds so exciting. I don't know how you're going to do it, but yeah, if we can help at all, then let's do it. How exciting. And I just thought, oh my goodness, that's such a different feedback than what I got. So it's about knowing who's in your golden gang, which people you use for certain things, whether it's emotional support you need or physical support, or maybe you need somebody to say, that is ridiculous, or you need somebody to say, that's amazing. You pick and choose sometimes, and it's about having enough people in your golden gang to do that. And I know you were talking to Mike Pagan a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about, mental wealth and about having the right people and giving them almost scoring them about, whether you get health and wealth from certain people, but make sure you've got a nice spread of people. And I think it's the same with your golden gang when you're working towards your gold. Absolutely.
I think it's eminently possible what you're saying there. Geocaching is already a thing. It's
Yeah.
already a movement. There's websites, there's people who enjoy it. Completely geocaching is a thing.
Yeah.
And gold doesn't have to be bullion. It could
No.
be, it's a metaphor for a prize.
Yeah.
And it could be golden color. It could be a golden ticket. It could be whatever you decide that gold means.
Yeah.
You find it. And to hide those clues in your book, you're not hiding £1 million worth of treasure anywhere. What you're hiding is an objective.
Yeah.
I've achieved something.
Yeah.
I've taken a photograph, I put it on Twitter, and I've gone, yay, I'm gold.
Yeah.
And I've won something. And I think, yeah, I mean, I like you, I can extrapolate that in my head and go, wow, sounds like a fantastic idea. Let's get going. Let's do it.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
So,
I will. I'll tell you what, Joe. I will be on the one show. I'll be sat on that sofa, and I'll be telling them about my actual treasure hunt around the UK in support of finding the gold in your life. And when you see me on BBC One, you can say, "Oh, Steve was talking about that on the podcast." There you go.
yeah, and you'll be back afterwards and talk about your experience on the one show and whether it was Alex Jones or whether you had one of the other presenters. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Who knows? Yeah, it'd be great. Definitely.
Steve, thank you so much. You've been an amazing guest. I've loved to learn about gold, your golden circle, and how we can all inspire ourselves and be inspired by those around us, and how we can avoid maybe the drains in our life and focus on the radiators, the people who are going to add value. So yeah, really, really, really powerful. So Steve, you mentioned your book several times. Do you want to tell us about how we can get hold of you, when your book is coming out, what it's called, what to look out for, all of that? How do people get in touch?
Okay, so the best way is my website, which is www.steve-judge.co.uk. I'm all over social media, so don't lean on your excuses. Get in contact with me, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm Steve Judge Gold, of course. And then the book, yeah. So my My autobiography is available now if you wanted to buy that off the website. But my new book is called Gold, is going to be coming out in March. And I think that's pretty much all the details I've got at the moment. It will be on my website, so you can find it there. But yeah, if you connect with me on social media, you'll hear me talking about it in the weeks and months to come. But the main thing is I just want to help people. So if you want to reach out, if you want to have a chat, either by text or you want to have a Zoom, then let's do that. If you feel that I can help you in any way, let's connect and let's have a nice chat.
Steve, thank you once again. So very inspirational. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
A huge thank you to you, the listener, or the listeners, for tuning in, for getting to the end. I really appreciate this. It's been an hour long, and I know sometimes it's hard to stick with it, but this has been an amazing chat. Please do subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Keep updated on future episodes of the Inclusion Bites podcast. That's BITES. Tell your friends, tell your colleagues. Please share the link. As you can imagine, I have a number of other exciting guests lined up, and I'm sure you'll be equally inspired by them over the next few weeks, months, and hopefully years. And of course, if you'd like to be a guest, if you'd like to be part of the show, please do drop me a line. And if you've got any ideas for improvement, suggestions, then I'd love to hear those as well. So please drop me an email to joe.lockwood@teachingchaplain.co.uk. And finally, my name is Joanne Lockwood. It's been an absolute pleasure to host this podcast for you today. Catch you next time. Bye.